donated to your campaign. Was he qualified to get that job?
I believe he was qualified to get the job. I believe that anybody we put in a position is qualified to get the job. But clearly, in this case, he exhibited terrible judgment and he resigned, which was the appropriate thing to do.
He's not the only state committee person working in DCR. There's other people who donated to your campaign. So I think it's a fair question. Are unqualified people getting jobs at DCR because they're connected to you or the Republican Party?
Everybody who gets hired anywhere in our administration goes through the same process. And through that process, they're determined if they're qualified or not. And by the way, we're the first administration to actually start to post the resumes and the qualifications of the people we hire and whether or not, in fact, they were referred by any other elected official to us, which was a commitment we made during the campaign.
Before Sisk, you had Carol Sanchez. She describes herself as a friend of yours. That didn't work out either.
Carol Sanchez had been a successful owner-operator of a financial services business in Metro West area of the Commonwealth for probably close to 20 years. Small business operator, very successful at it, chose to go back to the private sector, which, you know, in that particular case, we were obliged to do what she was interested in doing, which was to go back to the private sector.
Are we going to be hearing about more bad apples in DCR?
Look, I've known Matt Sisk for a long time and was appalled by what he did. I certainly don't think you'll see anybody doing anything like that again.
Governor, can you confirm that Matt Sisk was using lights and sirens to drive through the seaport? And can you tell us anything more about that?
No, that is in fact what showed up on that video, which is the minute we heard about it, we referred it to the state police, they confirmed it, and we asked for his resignation, and he resigned, which is exactly what should have happened. It's a horrible lack of judgment.
All right, guys, thank you.
Governor, can you explain why that's sort of the straw that broke the camel's back when obviously he was found to do something with, you know, let's say resources?
Look, I would say that anybody who, I think I've used lights and sirens. I haven't used them. The trooper has used lights and sirens 3 times since I took this job to go to 3 funerals for military personnel who died in the line of duty. No one should be using lights and sirens unless they've been trained to use lights and sirens. And frankly, no vehicle other than emergency service vehicles, fire vehicles, and public safety vehicles probably ought to have them in the first place. I'm still trying to, you know, one of the things we're looking into is whether or not there are other vehicles in the state's fleet outside of emergency services, public safety, and fire that actually have lights and sirens. I'm not really sure I would know why anybody other than those kinds of people would want or should have lights and sirens.
Did he use a vehicle that he wasn't supposed to, or was this his regular issued vehicle?
I believe this was his regularly issued vehicle.
Is DCR a dumping ground for politically connected Republicans?
DCR is an organization that has had a couple of unfortunate incidents. I consider DCR to be a terrific organization that does good work. And as I said before, everybody who gets hired by our administration has to go through a screening process and meet the qualifications for the job they're being hired for. And we're the only administration, to the best of my knowledge, that has ever begun posting on the state's website the resumes and the qualifications for anybody that we bring on to into state government.
Governor Baker, the transgender law went into effect this weekend. Do you expect any problems to come out of that?
Well, we had a big discussion during the legislative process on that, and ensuring that there was a mechanism in place to establish some guidelines and criteria around some of the public safety questions that have been raised. And it's my view that the work that was done on that and the follow-up regulations that were issued by the Attorney General established the right criteria on that. So I'm expecting that people will adhere to that, and this will be an uneventful implementation.
What do you think about the repeal efforts?
Look, I'm a direct democracy guy. I always have been. I've participated in a lot of ballot questions over the course of my career. I've always said that if people can collect the signatures and put something on the ballot, they have, bully for them, and they have a right to be heard.
All right, guys,
Governor, has the investigation at EA been completed yet?
It will be completed shortly. We have some interviews that we need to finish up on. In some cases, we're going back to people that we talked to previously based on subsequent information. It's an important investigation. As I said before, I found the allegations to be disturbing, and I've told the folks involved that I want them to move as quickly as they can to get it resolved. But I also want to make sure that they talk to all the people they need to talk to be sure that that the report is complete.
All right, thanks
guys.
everybody.
Thanks, Governor.